Welcome back to Younger MMA. So in this video, this is more of, I'm not telling anyone what to believe, and I'm not making any definitive statements about what's going on in the world or anything like that. But I do believe that if the way that you see the world or your belief system, if it is conducive to a certain kind of behavior and effect in the world, I see that as a good thing, even if what we're talking about is more of like a thought experiment and I can't prove it objectively. If it affects the way that you behave in the world in a positive way, it's worth thinking about, in my opinion. So a couple of years ago, I had a mentor who had a lot of knowledge about, you could say, esoteric kind of mysticism type stuff. But he kind of told me one night that he believed that whatever evil is, like you could call it the devil, evil, whatever, that what it really is it's always trying to eliminate consciousness. Like the human consciousness, the spark that is capable of creativity, that is trying to erase it. So it's like the battle between good and evil is like light versus darkness. And the darkness is always trying to consume the light. That's how he put it. And I'm bringing that up because if any of y'all are into Carl Jung, and if you've heard of Ion, and I'm going to put some stuff in the description if you're interested in this kind of stuff. The YouTuber Uber Boyo, as well as someone else I'll tell you at the end of the video. They'll be in the description if you want to dive deep into this kind of stuff. But there's a book called Ion by Carl Jung, which I don't claim to understand. It's deep, really deep. But he frames this game we're in, this battle between good and evil, or God and Satan, however you want to put it. He puts it as, hey, this is actually like our free will determine this. Meaning we can lose. So the light can be erased. The darkness can win. That was his opinion. Now, if you believe that God's will overrides everything, I understand. Like I said, this is a thought experiment. But he framed it as we can lose. It's possible to lose. And losing means the spark of consciousness is erased and darkness consumes everything. And like, what does that really look like? It could look like the extinction of humanity physically, like no more humans are alive. But I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't have to be that. It could just be that the spark is removed from every human that is alive. There's even parts of the Bible talking about the end of the world that say something about there will be no more flesh that contains like the Holy Spirit. Really try to follow me here. If you have any good in your life, and I define good mainly as like love. So love for your family, your friends, you care about people. That is part of the light that we need to hold on to. A bigger part of it is creativity. So actually telling stories and actually seeing the world as a story and seeing yourself as a character in a story and actually trying to be creative and put something in the world that wasn't there until you made it. And if you have anything in your life that qualifies as that, you really need to hold on to it right now. Because right now, what a lot of people are feeling, myself included, is that the overstimulation is causing this weird kind of fog where people have a hard time with their memory and they have a hard time having clarity. And it's like, I don't know if that happened yesterday or 2 or 3 days ago. And for me personally, I mean, I feel that come and go. Like sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I feel that creeping up. But if you feel that creeping up, you really need to fight that now. Don't let it become bigger and then you're fighting it when you're even further in the darkness later on. You need to go ahead and fight that now, right now. And the way that you do it is either creativity or love, in my opinion. But right now we're in a situation where humanity really needs to hold on to the light And so if you have a routine of any kind of like prayer, praying for other people that you care about or just for humanity is a really good thing to do right now. For me, I love training and I love the stuff that I'm working on creatively and stuff, but I feel like the one truly good thing about my day is when I pray, because at the end of the day, like my creativity and stuff is kind of just self-serving. Like I have my own projects that I'm working on for me, but it's when I pray for other people that I actually feel good. And right now, the reason I brought up Ion and the idea that we could lose is like we need to really start thinking like, okay, trust God, have faith in God, but why did he give us free will? Why are we here? What's our purpose? Like, doesn't life seem to be war, spiritual war? Doesn't it seem to be a battle between good and evil? When you see that picture that the Freemasons use as like it's like their cosmology explained. It's like a metaphor for their cosmology. So it has the big arc. Don't expect me to give you a great explanation, but it has the big arc with the compass and everything, but the floor is chessboard or checkers. And a lot of people believe that it's black and white to represent duality, which is probably I'm sure that's true, but I've always thought that maybe the reason the Freemasons have the checkerboard floor, like a chessboard, is because they know that the nature of reality is actually like that. I think the nature of reality is just spiritual war. I think that is like the purpose of humanity, is to be the pawns on the chessboard. And you can't actually pick a side. Like, we know that humans work for the dark side. We know that. And I really recommend watching They Live, John Carpenter. It's free on YouTube now. And that movie came out in 1988, which is really weird. But I recommend that. I recommend V for Vendetta. Some of those movies, I'm not sure if it was like bad guys putting predictive programming in the movie, or if it was kind of like, Kubrick with Eyes Wide Shut, where it was like they were trying to warn us. But there's a lot of truth in those films. I think when they came out, they were seen as like just some weird sci-fi movie, but in 2025, you'll have a pretty different feeling when you watch it. But I believe that the nature of reality is constantly a war between good and evil. And even when it seems uneventful, when you're by yourself, doing that energy work like prayer, meditation, even exercising, thinking about other people that you care about and trying to send them good energy with your mind, all that kind of stuff is spiritual war. And it seems almost like soft, like, oh, it's all about love and stuff. But you should really stop and think about like the darkness in the world. Don't you hate it? Don't you hate it? It's not soft to want to live like this, to care about this. It's not some hippie like, oh, it's just all about love. It's like, don't you hate the darkness? They make money off of a war. They make money off of bombing children. So spiritual warfare doesn't really look like I'm not going to be able to go just wage war, against the government. That's stupid. Like, I'm not a terrorist. But spiritual war really does look like the energy that you put out, and that energy has an effect on the world. Anyway, that's all I got today. I'm going to keep talking about this, though. In the description, I'm going to have a lot of stuff like Uberboyo and this other channel. You'll see it down there. So when you go to Uberboyo, go to playlist, and the playlist called Ion by Carl Jung. So Ion is A-I-O-N. The playlist called Ion by Carl Jung. It's a lot, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to look at this playlist and be like, dude, it's like 100 hours of lectures. But it's like, for those of you, a lot of you are not going to listen to it, but I know that some of you might. But it's really dense, and you're going to have to hit rewind a lot, and it's probably going to take you months to get through all the lectures, but it's worth it. And not every single video on that playlist is necessary. If you want to just jump to the good stuff, I'd recommend the video on that playlist that's called It's like The Story in the Stars, or The Great Story in the Stars, or something like that. I'd recommend that video. But I think bringing awareness to this is a good thing, and it is possible that humanity could lose all of its spark. So if you have any of it, you should hold on to it right now, because that's the times that we live in. All right, peace.